Hello and welcome. I'm Jon Garlick and I'm here with Sheriff Matthew Wade, and this is Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Morning, Sheriff.
Always good to be on the show, John. It's my kind of weather. We've got this morning a good, cool, crisp air. I love it.
And it motivates people to get out and work, and you guys have been working pretty hard.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at the count.
2 arrests this week. You've never let us down. 5,113 people put in jail, all because somebody was willing to help us. You do the work, and we get to be able to tell you what you've done this week, and we appreciate it very much.
And this week, speaking of weather, we've got some weather events, but also...
Yeah, the hurricane's coming, and you got race week, so it seems like almost every time we do Talladega that there's a weather event. But if you're going to be out in Talladega this week, enjoy it, stay safe, don't do nothing real stupid like drink and drive. You know, stay at the campground and be responsible, and stay weather aware. You don't want to get caught out there camping. So.
That's right. It'll be raining and windy, and you know, that north campground, a lot of stuff goes on out there.
You know, but Talladega is very good to Calhoun County, and it brings in a lot of visitors and a lot of tax revenue, and we're happy that you're here, and we want you to have a good time. Come visit us, stay in Oxford, eat in Oxford, Anniston, and we love you. And
yeah, and we love you too, and we'll love for you to stay with us for the first half of our lineup, and then we have a really neat guest for you coming up here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Our first half of the lineup is brought to you this week by For Him Bail Bonding. For Him Bail Bonding, their phone number 256-848-7590. First up this half, Ezekiel Hernandez. Mr. Hernandez, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted on a probation violation for rape first. And this is Rosalind Montgomery. Miss Montgomery, last known to be living in Piedmont. She's wanted for a failure to appear on theft of services first. And take a look at Robert Russell. Mr. Russell, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for failure to appear on assault first and failure to appear on distribution of a controlled substance. And this is William Polk. Mr. Polk, last known to be living in Cedartown, Georgia. He's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a firearm with altered ID marks, possession of controlled substance ×2 in use, and possession of drug paraphernalia. And we'd like you to meet Christopher Reeves. Mr. Reeves, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted on a probation violation for receiving stolen property first. And take a look at Mario Galvez. Mr. Galvez, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for failure to appear on domestic violence, strangulation / suffocation, and failure to appear on domestic violence, third harassment. And this is Shadrikus Coleman. Mr. Coleman, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for bond revocations on assault first, burglary first, and shooting and discharging into an occupied building. And meet Brandy Rapelli. Miss Rapelli, last known to be living in Gadsden. She's wanted for probation violation on permitting and aiding an escape. And that's it for the first half of the lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show. Welcome back, and we hope you saw somebody in that half of the lineup that you might know where they are. And if you do, call Sheriff Matthew Wade. You call, he hauls. We are here with our good friend Susan Shipman, Executive Director of Second Chance.
Wonderful organization.
Morning. Thank you very much.
An important organization.
Absolutely.
Working hard to put ourselves out of business, just
well,
like you
one
guys.
would hope.
Yes.
That's never going to happen, I'm afraid, is it?
No, and you know, this domestic violence is a big issue, you know, and it affects a lot more people than people want to admit to.
Yeah.
And so it's something that we need to work on in our society every day.
And we have, if you notice in the lineup, people will be looking at our lineup. We've got several domestic violence, strangulation, harassments out there. It's a real problem.
It is a real problem.
Happily, strangulation is now a felony if you do that within a domestic violence situation, and so that's got some teeth behind it. You know, gives it a little push for a law, and that's awesome. So the reason that I'm here is because October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we've got some events coming up that we wanted to share with y'all.
Oh, well, share them. And
Share
before
away.
you share them, for our viewers who may not know what Second Chance is all about, and we've been giving them some really good hints, why don't you tell them?
Second Chance provides safe shelter and supportive services for domestic and sexual violence victims. We accompany sexual assault victims to at hospitals during a forensic exam. We have 2 emergency shelters right now.
A good example was we had a kidnapping on July the 4th. Second Chance was involved in that and assisted that victim in that and was a very, very good resource for her. And so, you know, I can't say enough about how Second Chance helps law enforcement when somebody has been sexually assaulted, that they go to the hospital, they help the nurses, they help law enforcement, they help comfort the victim, tell them this is kind of what the process is, this is what you're going to go through. You know, being a male, and most of our investigators are males, it's really hard. Somebody that's been a victim more than likely is going to be a female. And so having a male come in, those are sensitive and delicate times that we really need somebody like Second Chance to help us.
It's absolutely a necessity for us to work together, and we do that, and we are so grateful for the assistance of the Sheriff's Office and also all of the law enforcement agencies we work with throughout our service area, because we know that you know, from a law enforcement perspective, walking into a domestic violence situation is one of the most dangerous things, one of the most dangerous calls you're ever going to experience, because you just don't know what you're going to get.
There's a lot of raw emotions, even though that the 2 people are fighting. We've had it where we try to arrest one of them, and then the other one wants to fight us because of, you know, it's just a very weird is. There's just a lot of raw emotions, and when people's emotions are that raw and that intense, anything can happen.
It can, and every situation is different, so we have to be aware of that. And you know, and if you're teaching your guys what you know about domestic violence and about working with the local nonprofit, you know, then that's a great thing, because you don't know what you don't know. And so yeah, our partnership with law enforcement is vital.
And you know, domestic violence, or Second Chance rather, is a nonprofit. So tell us a little bit about where your funding comes from. Nonprofit says a lot of things.
It does. We get the majority of our budget comes from the Victims of Crime Act, and that used to be a bigger piece of money until we stopped putting money into the fund that funds the Victims of Crime Act. They're supposed to be building that back up now, but we also get money from the Family Violence Prevention and Services Act, from the Violence Against Women Act, from Emergency Solutions Grant. Those are our largest funders. We have money flowing through the Alabama Coalition Against Domestic Violence and also through the Alabama Coalition Against Rape, and the budget is very complicated.
As they all are.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
And as in nonprofits and the Sheriff's Office, there's just not enough to do what you need to do. Because y'all have how many counties that you service?
6. We serve 6 counties, Calhoun and surrounding, and it's challenging, you know, to get out to those outlying counties, and 3 of those are rural counties, and you know, when you don't have money in the budget for travel, then it's difficult, you know, to get out there. And but that's in one of our projects that's new this year, that's through the Family Violence Prevention and Services Act. That's some ARP money, Alabama Recovery, American
ARPA.
Recovery,
Yeah, the ARPA money.
yes, and so that is designated to go out into some of these less touched areas that we haven't seen for quite some time, or ever for that matter, and be in front of the public and let them know about the services that are available. We have on staff now a young lady that is bilingual, Spanish and English, and so that's going to be extremely helpful with this project to get out into the communities, particularly those Latino and Spanish speaking.
That's an interesting community, because they may be grossly underserved, because there's probably a large majority of them that are here illegally, and they're afraid to come forward.
And that's all okay with us. The Violence Against Women Act has provisions in it that you know, allow us to spend their money to assist people that are here from another country that are not naturalized or a citizen or have visas or any of that kind of stuff. And so it's difficult really to reach the Hispanic community and let them know that that's not, we don't put people in front of ICE. That's not what we do. All of our services are available to them and to everyone else at no charge, and that's huge.
Absolutely.
Well, and Sheriff's Office doesn't put people in front of ICE.
No, you know, we want them, if somebody's been a victim of a crime, we want them to call us. A lot of times they won't call us.
Right.
Or they're scared of that. You know, the ICE, all of that is a federal thing. As a local law enforcement officer, people might not understand, I cannot enforce federal law. I'm not a federal law enforcement officer. I could say, hey, this right here looks like a federal crime, and we can refer it to somebody. But you know, when we go answer calls for theft, domestic violence, we're not asking for people's proof of citizenship.
Exactly.
You know, we're trying to help people that are victims of crimes.
Yes.
And that's our main goal, is to do the right thing. And so the right thing can be many different things. But we want to do the right thing, and we want to treat people decent. They are human beings.
It's about respect, absolutely.
So Domestic Violence Awareness Month is October. And
It is. Our first event is actually on Friday, September 30th, where we're going to be doing, I don't remember which annual Domestic Violence Awareness Month kickoff cookout. At our offices at 613 Wilmer Avenue from 11 until 1, and we'll have the grill cranked up, and we'll have maybe some live entertainment, and it's rumored that we're going to have cornhole set up for a little gaming and competition, and so we hope that everybody can be there. John, you came to our April event where we did the kickoff cookout for Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a way for people from our community to meet our staff and meet our board and get to know the faces of the people that are the boots on the ground, and that's extremely important.
And we'll talk more about that after our break. And you guys all stay with us here and look at the second half of the lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And welcome to the second half of our lineup. This half brought to you this week by A1 Freedom Bail Bonding. A1 Freedom Bail Bonding, their phone number 256-236-7888. And first up this half, Marquise McNeely. Mr. McNeely, last known to be living in Meridian, Mississippi. He's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a controlled substance, possession of marijuana, and use and possession of drug paraphernalia, and giving a false name to law enforcement. And meet Danielle Webb. Miss Webb, last known to be living in Galesville. She's wanted on a probation violation for possession of a controlled substance. And this is Carlos Sykes. Mr. Sykes, last known to be living in Tuscaloosa. He's wanted on a probation violation for possession of a controlled substance. Take a look at Jermaine Jenkins. Mr. Jenkins, last known to be living in Mumford. He's wanted on a probation violation for felony DUI. And meet Savannah Hamilton Gutierrez. Miss Hamilton Gutierrez, last known to be living in Athens. She's wanted for probation violation and receiving stolen property first. And that's it for our lineup this week. If you have any information on these people, please give Crime Stoppers a call. That number, 1-833-251-7867. And maybe you saw somebody you recognize in that half of the lineup, and if you do, call the sheriff's office, call Sheriff Matthew Wade directly. You call, he hauls. We are here with Susan Shipman, Executive Director of Second Chance, a domestic violence program, nonprofit. We were talking about all that, and how Friday, this Friday, right?
Friday,
September
yes,
30th,
this Friday.
From what time to what time now?
From 11 until 1 at 613 Wilmer Avenue, we'll be having our Domestic Violence Awareness Month kickoff cookout. And the public is absolutely welcome. We hope that you will come. Staff and board will be there, and it's usually a good time.
And it's important. You know, folks should go down and see your office and meet the staff.
Yes.
Just because it's a great program. And,
Well, and once again, you know, we kind of want to reiterate exactly what they do. We talked about them accompanying people at the hospital for sexual assaults, but what we didn't talk about is domestic violence. You know, in the circle of domestic violence, how it happens, and there's a honeymoon period, and it gets worse, and honeymoon period, and it keeps getting worse. You know, it's kind of like people who have a substance abuse issue. Most people with a substance abuse issue doesn't go to rehab and it gets worked out the first time. It's a process, and it might take 3 or 4 times before they get the help they need. And domestic violence can have some of the same attributes. And people go, I don't want to leave my home.
Yes.
I don't want to
yes.
leave my things
Yes.
because my things are so important. I'm willing to die for them. And that happens. People die over things. You know, people get divorced and they're more concerned about property than they are people.
You know, yes, and a victim never thinks that it will get to that. But when they say to you, I will kill you, then they mean it. And that has happened in my family, and I know for a fact that not every bad guy is going to follow through on that. But when they do, that's it. We're done.
You should,
you
they
know,
say
bang,
it, you
bang,
should
you're
believe
dead
it.
is absolutely
But, you know,
believe it.
But
yeah.
the second chance has a place. If you need a
We
place to
do.
get out,
Absolutely.
if you need a place to go and be safe, you can call Second Chance.
Right.
They'll get you to a safe place. It won't cost you nothing. That you
Right.
can bring your family with you. I mean, your kids. So
Yes.
there is a way. When you say there's not a way, I don't have any money, I can't go anywhere, I don't have no place to go, that's
And
not true.
we
Second
will help
Chance will
them,
give you that.
absolutely. We will help them figure it out, and it's a calm place. Come in, sleep, eat, rest a little bit, and then let's talk about some solutions, because there's a solution there, and not every victim really is going to need emergency shelter or is going to want to come into our emergency shelter. But we do a lot of assistance on an outreach basis also. So shelter's not the only option. And we have two. One is for women with limited mobility issues, older women also. It's a smaller shelter, sleeps 4, and then our larger shelter sleeps 23.
But there's options.
Which is a lot. There are options, and there are
There is
options
help.
out there, and there is help available, absolutely, for any situation. And so reaching out, making that first phone call is the very hardest thing. And we know that a victim may flee a domestic violence situation 5 to 7 times before they stay fled for various reasons. I bought those curtains that are hanging in the living room. Why should I have to do? Yes, and so, but working that out while in shelter or somewhere safe is the better idea than trying to stay with the batterer and risk additional harm to the victim. So that's what we do. We find solutions. We're all about hope.
And even if, there's some people that aren't quite sure, believe it or not, that they're in a situation
Right.
that could turn violent.
Yes.
They're a little uneasy in the relationship, and so Friday would be a good time for those folks that are just, I've had some bad relationships.
Yes.
They weren't that bad, but I don't know what to look for.
And that's the yet. It may be just name calling and a push or something like that. But the you're eligible too. The not yets are that. There may not be a continuum of it starts like really mild and then goes up more and more. It can go from name calling to bang bang you're dead in a heartbeat, because every situation is different. And so, we do our very best to meet the victim where they are in their life and where they are in their situation and help them to find their answers to stay out.
Well, so let's talk about what else is going on in Domestic Violence Awareness Month in October, because I think you have a long list of things.
I do. I had to bring the list because the list is long. On Saturday, October 1st, we will be at Oxford Fest. We'll have a table there, and staff and board will be manning and womaning the table there. And so that's from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Something that we've started that we really enjoy is going to local law enforcement agencies and giving them little treat bags that have got little card in them that say, here's a payday for the money that you don't think you're not getting paid at work. And anyway, it's got some cute little things with every little piece of candy that's in it. And so we'll be doing that early October, and then the most important, I think, after that is our Domestic Violence Awareness Walk that's on the 25th. The last Tuesday of the month is indeed the 25th. It's the 14th annual, and we start gathering at 5:30 at Centennial Memorial Park and at 17th and Quintard, and we walk, and it's just a demonstration walk. It's not a big, long walk, and we have signs, and we will have a speaker there, yet to be determined, but it's been a really great gathering and a good time for people that support our purposes and our cause to get together and show that.
It's 5:30 in the evening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Oh, yes.
When I hear walk and 5:30, I just instinctively think these are people that get up really early in the morning to do that.
That doesn't happen in my life.
Yeah,
So,
not
no.
mine either.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
Okay.
5:30 p.m.
Correct.
And where was that again?
It's at Centennial Memorial Park at 17th and Quintard, and we gather at 5:30. We'll probably have some T-shirts available there, and signs for you to carry down the street if you want to, and we go south on Quintard for a little bit and cross over and come back up, and Anniston Police Department will be helping us with that, I believe, or the fire department will be cutting off traffic so we don't get run over.
Well, your fire department's good at that.
They are, yes.
Blocking traffic.
I love it when they Stop it. But yes, and they're supporters of ours as well.
They are.
Yes,
Touché.
indeed,
They
they are.
are indeed. So very quickly, because we're almost out of time, just refresh us on the events that are coming up. Friday
Friday is the kickoff cookout event that's at 613 Wilmer Avenue from 11 until 1. We're at Oxford Fest on October the 1st. We will be doing the recognition of law enforcement the 3rd through the 7th, and then we have the 14th annual Domestic Violence Awareness Walk on Tuesday, October 25th, starting at 5:30 p.m. And we will have a speaker there, and it's rumored that we'll have cornhole tournament on Friday at the kickoff cookout.
Very good. So Domestic Violence Awareness Month, second chance, your premier assistance for domestic violence. Give them a call, visit their website, and stay with us because we have our Crazy Criminal and the Crime Stoppers portion of our show yet to come here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show where we ask your help on the following cases. First up, between July 17th and July 23rd, a red Ibanez 4-string bass guitar, a purple Ibanez 4-string electric guitar, and a dark brown J. Tercer electric guitar were all stolen out of a 2011 Nissan Sentra parked on Ridgedale Drive in Oxford. And on September 22nd, a red, black, and gold dirt bike, make unknown, was stolen from Lorimer Road in Alexandria between 9 and 10 p.m. on that date. If you have any information on these cases, please give Crime Stoppers a call. Their number, 1-833-251-7867.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Sheriff, it's crazy criminal time.
You know, this one's a little different,
Uh-oh.
but things like this happen. If we can put the picture up, this is Kiera Welch. She's 23. On September the 20th, she was riding down a very busy road in Memphis when a police officer saw her firing a pistol out her window driving down the road just randomly. So he was able to pull her over. She was half naked.
Oh.
Said she was celebrating her birthday. There was marijuana on the floor that she said was hers. She had also been drinking alcoholic beverages that she admitted to, clearly intoxicated. And, she was high on marijuana, drinking, driving, shooting a gun in a busy, crowded area of Memphis. That's bad enough, right?
That's bad. That's bad.
Well, like I said, this happened on September the 20th. Her birthday was August the 24th.
Oh,
So
wow.
that was a month before. So I don't know if it was an extended celebration or if it was just one of those things she couldn't celebrate. That was the first time she was able to celebrate since her birthday or what.
Well,
But,
maybe she'd been in jail until she bonded out for her birthday, and then
I'm not sure of those things, but it raises so many questions that, was it a month-long celebration? Was it the first time she could party, but she was by herself? You think normally partying with your birthday, you'd like to party with somebody.
Well, she was hoping, obviously being half naked, that
I don't know.
something exciting would happen for her. I
Extremely odd and strange, but don't party, don't do drugs, and don't shoot guns because they're very dangerous in crowded public areas. It'll get you arrested.
And that's very good advice all the time, but especially for this weekend, Talladega.
That's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
It's absolutely correct. So, Sheriff, as we close out, we got less than a minute to go here, but we got bad weather coming in, but not too bad, just probably rain and a little bit of wind.
Okay.
And then we've got that Talladega race weekend. Lots of people
A lot of
driving
things
around.
can happen at Talladega. Stay safe, be smart. Don't leave your valuables laying around the campground. Don't get so drunk that you don't know how to get back to your campground. And please don't use any type of weapons when you're drinking. That's bad.
And parents, don't let your teenagers
No,
go to the campgrounds.
no,
Just don't.
it's not
They
good.
don't need to. There's nothing good for them out there.
That's right. They can go to the race, just don't
They
go
can
to
go to the race,
campgrounds,
just-
don't go hang out, because nothing good is happening, I can promise you that.
Nothing good is happening out there. But lots of good is happening here on this show, and we hope to see you again next week here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted, but not in the lineup.